for a secular background on what we're going to talk about here, please watch the video, The Battle of Bull Run Explained, on the channel Mr. Beat. He does a very good job, very succinctly describing an event during the U.S. Civil War that I'm going to talk about now. And also for a more in-depth spiritual angle on this same discussion, it's Ellen White's amazing vision, need my reading glasses, Ellen White's amazing vision of Civil War, and that is on the channel Hope Lives 365 with Pastor Mark Finley. Now, you go on to the Mr. Beat video at about 9 minutes 45 seconds in, and you will see him talk about how the northern troops at the Battle of Bull Run, the first battle, they retreated. He doesn't really explain why. And in fact, other historians and commentators have said this is a real mystery because there was no real explanation for them to retreat. But in the Mark Finley video, around 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, he quotes from a man named Blackford, a historian who was there that day. Blackford's looking at the troops. Everything is well ordered, everything is going smoothly, and they are winning the battle. And then he looks away, and in that moment, when he looks back, literally like that, it's all confusion. And there's no explanation why, no human explanation why. Book. The Great Visions of Ellen White. Roger W. Kuhn, he lists 10 particular notable experiences she had, and he's talking about the U.S. Civil War and an explanation for the Battle of Bull Run. So background, she's in a church in Michigan in 1861. God gives her a vision, says a war's coming. Here's how Kuhn wrote it. And this is page 79. Just read you a few quotes. After coming out of vision, Mrs. White addressed the congregation, according to eyewitness Lowborough, and said, "There is not a person in this house who has even dreamed of the trouble that is coming upon this land. People are making sport of the succession ordinance of South Carolina. But I have just been shown that a large number of states are going to join that state, and there will be a most terrible war." Now reading on page 80. When Ellen White received her first vision of the U.S. Civil War on January 12, 1861, she, as everyone else in the nation, was aware that South Carolina had seceded from the Union 23 days earlier. However, she may or may not have known of the secession of Mississippi, Florida, and Alabama during the 3 days immediately preceding her vision at Parkville. Obviously, back then, 1800s, news traveled slow, no satellites, no internet back then. So he's continuing here. It matters little, however, for the firing on Fort Sumter by the Confederate forces, generally considered by American historians as the opening of the Civil War, was exactly 3 months future from the day of this vision. So Kuhn here, in his book, he lists 7 different points that basically God showed to Ellen White. And 1, slavery was a sin. 2, God was using the U.S. Civil War to punish both sides. The South, of course, for having slavery, but the North for not doing enough to stop slavery. He lists a few other points, but I'll just go with point 7 here. By far the most amazing revelation in this vision concerned the mysterious and disastrous battle at Manassas Junction, Virginia. This battle is known in Union military circles as the First Battle of Bull Run. Among Confederates, it is known as the First Battle of Manassas. So page 84. While both North and South suffered horrendously large casualties, at one point the North was pushing ahead, when an angel descended from heaven to the battlefield and waved his hand backward. Instantly there was confusion in the ranks, it appeared to the Northern men that their troops were retreating, when it was not so in reality, and a precipitate retreat commenced. This seemed wonderful, and he's in brackets here, amazing to me. Again, 1800s language was a little different there. Kuhn is quoting from one of Ellen White's books. Now her angel explained to her that God had this nation in his own hand and would not suffer victories to be gained faster than he ordained. The North was not to be allowed to win a quick, decisive battle, thus ending the war abruptly, because it was to be punished for condoning slavery before the war, and also for not making abolition the principal ethical issue in the war.